Hi everyone, so welcome to a special edition of Happy Hour. Unfortunately, John is a little under the weather. He's looking a little bit older, hey? A bit more gray. He's lost a few pounds. I don't know what's going on. Anyhow, meet my dad, Jim McDougall, also known as the guy who jumped out of a plane at the age of 80. Parasailing, when was the last time? 86?
A couple of years ago.
Yeah, 86. Okay. So he is going to join me in Happy Hour today because we're going to do a little bit of tastings between alcoholic and non-alcoholic versions of our favorite cocktails. So yours is?
Oh, it's got to be that beer right there.
That beer, exactly. And mine, of course, everybody knows is wine, so, you know. But more importantly, my dad did something pretty interesting. He started writing his life story. How long ago did you start doing that?
Oh, probably a couple of years ago.
So he starts the story, and I'm just interrupting because it's 19 pages long, typewritten, right? And I'm like, he sends it to me and my brother and sister, and we're like, oh, awesome, okay. So I shoot it off to his grandson, my son Jesse. So then I shared it with a couple of colleagues as well, and they are waiting for your next chapter to come out. But in honor of that, I thought we could give a couple little highlights of what you've done because my favorite parts, I mean, you've got a little bit of sadness, you've got a little bit of just history that is just mind-boggling. But more importantly, he's got some hustler stories, right? Of which maybe I didn't know, but I found out. I don't know, it's shocking that we're in sales, isn't it?
Well, life was kind of different in those days. We did, as kids back then, especially when you have 4 kids in a family, the oldest one being 6, me being 5, the second oldest, my brother being 3, and my 4-month-old sister, and having my dad die. He had some health issues. He had joined the Army in the Second World War when it started.
Yeah.
And this was now 1942. So when you grow up with a mother raising 4 kids those days, the ones who think they have it bad today have no idea.
No, I mean, I can't imagine.
So anyway, it became a fun thing to do. I did it to get my mind working. I think too many old people like me forget everything. And I still do, but at least I can go back and read what I wrote 2 years ago. That brings it back up.
Oh, totally. So before we get into the hustler story,
Yeah.
I have 2 beer here, and these are Coronas. One is alcoholic, and one is non-alcoholic. So Dad, so you can sip on the alcoholic one while we're having a conversation, I'm going to get you to try. They're blind taste tests, so let's start with this one. Let me know how you think. Good?
I'm going to say that well, let me try the other one.
Okay.
I would say that's the non.
Oh, would you? Okay.
That's a non. It's very hard to tell the difference.
Really? Okay.
Now I'll tell you what tells me the difference.
What?
I carried those 2 bottles
Oh.
down, and the non-alcoholic wasn't as cold as the other one because they taste identical.
Do they?
Yeah.
So they're both Corona, and well, that's good to know. And then I have a Sauvignon Blanc, and this is just your regular Bask version. You notice it's a bit fuller. And this here is a version that I'll write in the comments of a Sauvignon Blanc that's non-alcoholic. So I'm going to give this my favorite one a try first. Yeah, I love my regular wine. And then this one. That's really good. That's actually
Well,
really good.
You know, this is happening more and more.
Yeah.
People, well, some, like myself, for example, I don't stop drinking. I still like to have some cold beer. But you get a hot day, you're sitting there, you're drinking a couple. I know I shouldn't drink more. I mean, I'm 88 years old, and you're not supposed to have too much alcohol and all this stuff, as the doctors keep telling me.
Yeah.
So I stumbled on this with one of the other brands that I drink, but I keep a couple in the fridge. So when I decide I had enough drinking alcoholic drinks, I take one of those. And I can still sip on it and visit and talk and whatever, and I'm not staggering into the kitchen at dinner time.
So there you go, like somebody who's been around for a while, so that's amazing. So let's just jump into one of the stories that I read, which I thought was pretty funny, and I'll throw it into the comments as well so you can read it verbatim. But I understand that you were thrown off of the golf course for selling Coke. Pardon? What happened?
Let's get one thing straight. The word Coke back then, it's Coca Cola Company. They had 6 little bottles, skinny bottles of Coca Cola. And a golf course, golfers start off from the clubhouse. Well, I happen to live in an area where, and this is when I was about grade 8 in school, grade 7 or 8, so I don't know, 13 years old or something. But a buddy of mine and myself, we realized that those golfers are getting thirsty by the time they get down to the 6th fairway, which just happened to be a block from our house. We had a little Chinese, that was in Vancouver, by the way, at 59th, and we lived between Main Street and Ontario Street on 59th Avenue. And the golf course was Langara Golf Course at the end of the road. We had a little school there we went to, Sextus School. But anyway, there happened to be a hole in the fence right there. Now, we're not going to discuss how that came there, but anyway, we had a little 57th on Main Street. We had a grocery store, a Chinese grocery store, and we would go in there. We'd borrow some money from my mother. It was 26 cents to get a 6-pack of Coke, and we would get on our bikes, run down to the golf course, and sell them for 10 cents a glass.
Nice.
So now we got enough for 2. So one of us would be on our bike back getting it, and the other would still be selling. By the end of the day, I don't remember how many we sold, but we sold quite a few. And we got to the grocery store got to the point where we didn't even have to pay for them until we got finished for the day, and even let us sell chocolate bars. And we had a nice little business going, because in those days there was no such thing as this word allowance that kids had. And we wanted to go to the movies on the weekend, so we got some money. But yeah, the golf course, for some reason or other, they didn't like this.
Well, that's too bad.
In fact, we had advanced to some of them in the back 9 too. We had a couple of young girls that kind of wanted to get involved with this. Well, only to make money.
Sure, yeah.
So, anyhow, we had things going really good, but yeah, one day the people that ran the golf course came and told us we shouldn't be doing it.
Now, you started a bit of a paper empire, but for some reason there was one story in there about your condom empire, and I'm a little curious about this as well. How did this come about?
Well, later on I got working, from not in the paper, I got working at a drugstore right near the high school. And at those days, let's say birth control pills had never been invented. And one of the big things in a drugstore, of course, was condoms, and where they kept them directly under the cash registers at the front of the store there. Right below that, there was some drawers that they had these in, and that was so that the guys that wanted to buy them could walk up and quietly ask for them, so nobody really wanted to be heard. Mm-hmm. Well, eventually, I started off delivering to the store, but eventually, something happened at one point. I was selling there as well as delivering. So there was nothing better in my mind than, let's start with the fact that my school teachers, who were 2 blocks away at John Oliver High School, would come in to buy their condoms. My best friends, all their dads would be coming in to buy condoms. There were 2 brands. And so first thing I'd do when they say quietly to me condoms, do you want Sheiks or Ramses? And that was everybody in the store could hear. When they'd quietly say Sheiks or Ramses, whichever, and I'd say, do you want the 3-pack or the 12-pack? And by then they'd be ready to run up the door.
You didn't ask the size?
No. So anyway, the store would never sell them to teenagers.
Oh.
That's the other thing. Young people couldn't. I mean, we just wouldn't. No store would sell them. So when the things were quiet, nobody was looking, I'd buy the 12-pack. And I would sell them to my friends at 50 cents each. And I think we paid $1.50 for the 12-pack.
Oh my God.
It was 50 cents, I think, for the 3, and it was $1.50 for the 12. So anyway, I was making a few dollars, and every kid would put one in his wallet, of course, and wait for the big day, which was a little tougher in those days because women weren't what they like the next generation. I mean, we didn't, you know, they could get pregnant too damn easy. So anyway, what happened is every kid in town had a wallet like mine. It had a big brown ring on the outside of it where this damn thing had been sitting there, including mine. And mine was there until, well, we won't go into all that.
That was just
But it wasn't a great experience when I finally got to use it.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Now, didn't you do something else on a golf course where you changed the position of the hole or something?
Oh yeah, that was a fun one.
What'd you do?
Well, we had a hole there, and golfers, sometimes we'd try to sell them balls. We'd try to find the ball for them and be nice to them while we're hanging around. But if they weren't nice to us, well, there was one hole where you shot, it was just about close to 200 yards down, and the tee was facing that way, and you went down, and then you had to go around a corner to the right, and they would take their second shot that way. So we would turn the tee box, so it was facing over top of the trees and all the bush and trees in that corner. Well, the average golfer has, you know, getting 200 yards, pretty damn good. But anything over 150, we already had all those balls coming into that bush. Where do you think we were?
And you sold them back.
Well,
didn't you?
no, not to them. We just slip out of there and go hide until they're gone and sell them to the next golfer. We were always selling golf balls.
Oh, that's crazy. So, yeah, I think that's a little bit of his ravaging.
Otherwise, I did not behave like Sue at all. No. I can tell you some stories about her too, but we won't go there today.
No, we won't. Thank you, Dad.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Yes.
stay tuned. There's going to be a few more episodes of what I call it the shit that Dad says. And yeah, so we'll share with that while Dad finishes and enjoys his beer. And we'll see you next time.